preheating to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and I've got a beautiful snapper here. This is about 1.5 pounds. It's been cleaned. Yeah, the tail and the head is still on there. You know, the funny thing is I get a lot of hate sometimes when I include the head. It's almost as if people want to eat the animal, but they don't want to see it as an animal. Come on, man, this is natural things. Anyhow, nice and clean, washed with the juice of a lemon, and I gave it a couple cuts, as you can see, maybe about 0.5 centimeter deep or so, just across the thick parts of the belly. And that is so the marinade, the sort of seasoning we're going to use later, is going to be able to get in there. Now, in the cavity of the fish, excuse me, I'm going to go with some salt, and I'm going to put some lemon slices, just a couple, maybe 3 of them, like so. I have some fresh thyme. I have some sliced garlic, and that is 3 cloves of sliced garlic. Hold tight, we've got more flavor ingredients which will be introduced soon. And I've got some parsley, and all I'm doing here, and you will notice really soon, is sort of replicating or doubling up on the flavors on the inside what I will also have on the outside of a thin piece of garlic there, on the outside of the fish. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get some kitchen string, and I'm going to hit that a couple ties there, and that is it for stuffing the cavity of the fish. And the reason for tying it is because I want the steam to create in there, not release, but sort of infuse all those, the lime and the parsley and the garlic, the thyme. I want those flavors to be from the inside of the fish as well. Now what we're going to do, we're going to shift this over a bit. In my bowl, I've got 4 tablespoons of chopped parsley. To that, I'm going to add some Italian seasoning, pepper flakes, sea salt, and of course, some fresh ground black pepper, crushed garlic, the juice of a lemon, and you notice we repeated the garlic, the salt, the parsley, the lemon juice. So now I have fresh thyme. I don't want the sprigs of thyme in there, but I want the leaves. So I'm just going to take those leaves, pop it in there. And the full recipe will be available at caribbeanpot.com, so don't fret, everything will be there, and it will be printable as well. You know, it's Lenten season, so I thought I'd get onto the fish game, share quite a few recipes in the upcoming days with you all. Then to bring it all together, we need about 1.5 cups, or about 1 cup of olive oil. And then it's just a matter of mixing it thoroughly. What we need to do is, we're gonna break this up, and we're gonna leave back 1/3 of this. So 2/3 is gonna be used right now, and we're gonna hold back on 1/3 of it for when the fish comes out of the oven. That is when we're gonna use that remaining third. And what I have is some pre-boiled potato Yukon Gold. They've been boiled in salted water, and I'm just gonna toss them in here because I want these to roast off. And the whole idea here is to create a complete meal for 4 people. Yeah, this will be enough for 4 people easily, because all I need to get out of the greedy stage. Next up, I've got some zucchini, nice big pieces of zucchini. And it's a great way to add any sort of vegetable that you like using. Carrots, you know, this is going to be in the oven for about 15 minutes or so. So I would say sort of steam the carrots a bit before you put it in here, just to ensure that they fully cook. And lastly, some bell pepper. Any sort of color, any sort of size. These ones here are these sort of mini bell peppers. Plus I have a large red one that I just gave a chop to. But you see what we go in here, nice and bright and colorful. A full meal, a sort of a sheet pan kind of meal. And it really don't matter at this point where anything goes, because once we add that marinade to everything now, we'll need to get back in there, tuck in there, and give everything a good mix. Keeping in mind that we need to reserve some of this marinade, what I'm going to do is toss some on, then I'm going to flip everything around, toss a little bit more. But remember, we've got to hold back about 1/3 or so of this lovely herb marinade, because what happens is once this comes out of the oven and it's still warm and you hit him, you hit this with a bit more of this marinade, there's only brilliant things happening. Yeah, no lie at all, boy. All dressed up and ready to go into the oven. I gave it a good toss into the oven, as I said earlier, there 400 degrees Fahrenheit, middle rack, for about 20 minutes or so. You don't need to do anything because you know that zucchini is going to cook quickly. The peppers, some people like it with a slight crunch. So yeah, it doesn't take long in the oven, and the potatoes were pre-boiled. You know, I use the snapper because I like ocean fish. I don't like lake or river. I don't like what we call sweetwater fish. I prefer ocean fish, and the snapper, one of my favorite. Anyways, a few things here now. Depending on the size of the fish, if it was a bigger fish, obviously it will take longer. It took about 20 minutes in the oven according to the size of the fish that I got there. And the other thing is, now is when we're gonna, remember that sort of marinade that I asked you all to reserve, that's gonna go on while it's still warm. Sup, soldiers? Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me, email address down here. I mean, trying to tell people the email address, then Butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pot. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie? In the remaining marinade that we have here, if you wanted to add a bit of lemon zest, that will really pick things up. But you notice how simple this one, a nice little sheet pan, one pan kind of something. Yeah, there were a few steps, but I guarantee you it's well worth it. What I must mention, earlier I said 1 cup of olive oil. It's more closer to 1 1/4 cup of olive oil. Yanks, I have a question for all the Yanks and them. Why do you all not use the word quarter? You always say 1 1/4. Well, they ain't learn how about quarter and thing, the primary school or what? Anyhow, I do hope you all get an opportunity to give this one a try. Lenten season, you're gonna see a bit more recipes coming up. So I do hope you all, if you're not subscribed yet, consider subscribing. I've been sick for the past 3 days, so I have a cough drop. Yeah, throat and cough and all kind of thing in my mouth, so that's why I get a little tongue tied there. Anyhow, I'm going.